Callier Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting. It's 6:30. Let's all stand and pay respects to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Noting of the roll. I'd like to get an approval of the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with the elimination of item 9A, employee handbook.
Second. Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Dunn. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. Approval of item number 5, approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Dunn. Any questions? Seeing none, all roll call, please.
Trustee Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes.
Motion carries. Item number 6, public comment on items not on the agenda. Yes, sir. Step up to the podium, your name and address, please.
Paul Beverick, 645 Indian Lake Road. And I'm interested particularly in the Crossroads development zoning and I want to be included when they have that on the schedule for discussion.
Okay. Noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on up, state your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Nancy Sarconi, and I'm at 657 Indian Lake Road. I also want to be included in any discussion regarding the Crossroads and the development potential of that area. So I just want to make that notated. Thank you.
So noted. Thank you, Nancy. Any other public comment on items not on the agenda? Seeing. Oh, sure.
Real quick.
CJ.
I just wanted to thank the Four County Community Foundation in Almont. I applied for a $10,000 grant there to get Parks and Rec to establish a community garden at Seymour Lake Township Park, and we were awarded that a week or two ago. So the Parks and Rec tomorrow will be starting the plowing, and we're going to have a 10,000 square foot garden to grow vegetables and herbs that'll be given to the free community meals program in Oxford and used in the cooking classes for seniors. Dawn Medici and Jeff Kyness at the Parks and Rec Department worked with me on the grant application, and they were both invaluable resources on that, and I want to thank them. And if anybody's interested in volunteering in the community garden, they can reach out to Dawn Medici at the Parks and Rec Department, 248-628-1720. Thank you.
CJ, one question. Didn't we have a lot of local support from Tractor Supply?
Yes, we did, actually. It's a good point. We had donations from Harvest Time Farm Market and Pet Stuff. They've agreed to donate up to 10 flats of vegetables and 2 flats of herbs. Stone's Ace Hardware donated garden equipment, gardening tools, and also Tractor Supply in Oxford and Home Depot in Lake Orion also donated sums to be used for the purchase of garden tools. So these community partnerships are invaluable in that respect as well. So we want to thank everybody involved, from our local businesses to, again, the Four County Community Foundation.
Thank you, CJ. Item number 7. Boy, this will be a room clear. Watch this. Fire Department. Item 7A, Assistant Fire Chief Employment Agreement Amendment. Board members, we need an amendment to the Assistant Fire Chief Matthew Majestic's employment agreement. The health care coverage option is to be included on a dependent children. The approved agreement only includes the Assistant Chief and his spouse. What we did was we copied it over from Dave Creech and failed to enter his children. So Look for a motion.
I move to amend the employment agreement between Matthew Majestic and the Charter Township of Oxford to include the option to enroll as dependent children in the health insurance plan in section 5C of the agreement.
I'll second that.
Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Charles. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dunn. Yes. Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. This one, I'm going to hand over to Fire Chief Pete Schultz. 7B, new hires and promotions recognition.
Evening Township Board members and audience. As part of our millage increase that was voted in back in November, it allowed us to hire 5 more firefighter paramedics for our personnel. Since then, we've been working on getting them in. We've got 3 of them that we've been able to hire and get started. We have them here tonight to actually do their swearing in formally. This is something we've not been doing before over the entire of my career. We've never done it before, so it's a tradition that the staff has come forward and asked that we be able to start doing this. It's a tradition to be able to start moving forward with everything, so I thought it would be a nice place to do it at the Township Board and in front of the general public and everything. So at that, could I have Edgar Sedano come up, please? Johnny Jones? Anthony Ashburn? Come on up in the front here. And face the crowd. Face the firing squad of everybody, please. Right across the front. Ready? Okay, raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I, you state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will uphold and support the Constitution and bylaws of the Oxford Fire Department, the constitutions of the state of Michigan, and of the United States of America, and that I will fulfill the duties as a firefighter paramedic with the Oxford Fire Department to the best of my ability. Thank you. Welcome them, everybody. It's nice to have 3 young blood coming into the department, keep it refreshed, to keep everybody moving forward and everything. It's great for new ideas. It's great for different aspects on how we do things. So I welcome them. Our Assistant Chief, Matt Majestic, welcomes them. Look forward to working with you guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Chief, is there a term for a rookie in the fire service? Like in the
Rookie,
service?
probationary, probie, yes there is.
Hey, you.
Thank you.
Can you get a picture of you, Matt? He said, Johnny, stay here.
Called bookends there, man.
John, stand up.
Why am I smiling?
He's got big hair.
You got your eyes. I got health insurance for my kids.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
As part of that millage also, it allowed us to add an additional fire inspector to the department. And with that, we have Lieutenant Sarah Racer, please come on up.
Pop around, yes.
Stand where was that? And with that promotion, that left a vacant position of our Lieutenant EMS Coordinator. And with that, I would like to welcome everybody to our new Lieutenant, Kevin Snell. Because of COVID last year, a lot of things got put on hold, weren't able to do it. And with that, I have a sergeant that never was able to bring in front of you, so at this time I would like Sergeant Johnson to come up, please. I should have washed it, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, there's that. Oh, there's a handshake in it somewhere. There you go.
Who's this, Justin?
My wife.
Sneaky devil, you.
I did. It's not everything on it. Yeah, man, I know you want to. Thank you, board members. It gives me great pleasure at this time to show the rest of the department in the back of the room. Would everybody please give them a good sounding of applause to have everybody here. One last item, a reminder to everybody that Oakland County is having a COVID vaccine day next Tuesday from 11 o'clock to 6 o'clock at the Oxford Fire Hall. We are hosting it at the building there. Go to Oakland County to reserve a spot, and they are also having walk-ins available throughout the day also. So encourage everybody, your families and everybody to please come in and get vaccinated so we can get back to normal and open up Michigan back up. So thank you.
Thank you. Chief, are you gonna stick around, or do we need a short one to let everybody get out for pictures? Or?
They want to go ahead and get out for pictures, letting them another time.
Yeah, we can.
Take care of the audience.
Bill,
Peter, what's up, buddy?
how are you doing?
Pretty good.
It was nice to hear that voice over there a minute ago. Okay, we don't supposed to clear out.
No, they're clearing out because they're taking pictures. They're not coming back.
Fire. Okay.
Yeah, this
All of a
is
sudden I'm going to leave and miss something.
No, no.
Yeah.
On Wi-Fi, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's not much.
Yeah, probably the best. Give me a buzz. Give me a buzz.
Why don't I stop up?
Yeah,
I'm not hearing that.
okay.
So it's,
No, you don't need to do that. Just,
Okay,
do you text?
moving on.
Just text me and just say, can I
Everybody's
come
out
out
of the
for
room?
such day? Yeah,
I don't know when it's
that's
gonna be.
fine. Yeah, that's fine.
that's like over the winter.
Except
Yeah,
for,
yeah, no problem. What have you been doing?
Oh,
no, I don't wanna gavel them yet, I'm waiting for a good one.
talk to you later, Pete.
Okay, back in session here. Item number 8, we'll go through the Sharp Engineering report, please.
I can't believe after all that they didn't want to stick around for this illustrious engineering report, everybody. There's a lot of things that we're doing kind of behind the scenes, working with the different committees, the Water and the Sewer Committee, Safety Path Committee and things. But just a few, just to keep everybody up to speed on some of those items and some things that we aren't working on. First off, just so everybody's aware, the Road Commission is going to be doing their mill and fill project, their preservation pavement preservation on Seymour Lake Road this summer. It's going to go from the village limits all the way out to Baldwin Road. So just people be aware of that. That's usually a pretty quick process. You've driven by the Manors of Westlake up here on Dunlap Road. There's a lot of construction activity going on. They got most of the sanitary sewer in. The water main's going in right now. So they're moving along at a pretty rapid pace, so hopefully there'll be some lots that'll be available for sale towards the end of the summer here. The culverts will be paving the asphalt up there on Monday, so that's going to be, I don't know what Andrew's schedule is, but I'm thinking that's going to be some type of July maybe opening, somewhere in that area there, but that's happening. The tank repairs that you guys approved over here in the water treatment facility, that's moving forward, and that should be completed here in about another 3 or 4 weeks, I think, is what I've been hearing. And the schools are doing some work. You probably are aware of the bond, but there's going to be a lot of construction activity. Again, not a lot of my involvement in it, or the townships, but just want to make you aware that the high school, the middle schools, lots of paving and things that are happening around the community, not to mention the 13-acre site south of the football field. We're going to be clearing a lot of trees out of there and doing some land balancing. No plans are in the works right now for what they're going to do with the property, but if you see activity happening out there, it's all on the up and up. It's all been approved, soil erosion, that type of thing. So with that, just any other questions that the board may have or projects that I can inform you of? All right, good enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. All right, we can move down to item 10, new business. 10A, Koenig parcel to be included in the sewer district, Water and Sewer Committee. You want to do this one, Curtis, or did you want me?
I'll let you take it.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Part of that new lifestyle. Board members, Koenig Sand and Gravel, approached the Water and the Sewer Committee requesting an approximate 98-acre parcel to be included in the sanitary sewer district. This parcel is already in the water district, butting up to a piece of property that's in the water and sewer district. So Peter requested the Water and Sewer Committee investigate it, paid his bond. Jim Sharp, our engineer, worked on the calculations and found out it could be and effectively worked into there. And it was the recommendation of the Water and Sewer Committee to add this already watered property into the sewer district. So with that, I would look for a motion or a question.
I move to approve the expansion of the Oxford Township Sanitary Sewer District to include approximately 98 acres, being a portion of parcel number P0423200002 to the Sanitary Sewer District. Further, Sharp Engineering is authorized to update the Sanitary Sewer District map, adding the approximate 98-acre parcel to the Sanitary Sewer District.
Second.
Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Clerk Wright. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Trustee Charles.
What's the downside of doing something like this? There is none?
That's my mind.
That's what I'm asking. Maybe I said, Mr. Sharp, if there was, people ask me pros and cons, is there a disadvantage to doing something like this?
I wouldn't believe that there's a disadvantage to it. We certainly, when we did the study, we included everybody that was in the existing sewer district, even those parcels that are not currently connected. So we made sure that we reserved that for, for those property owners so that they won't get stuck with anything or be out at a later date. So there is a little bit of capacity available in that particular area. The township itself has plenty of capacity in its overall sewer system, what they're sending down to the treatment plants. So I don't really see a downside to it at this point.
Okay.
No more questions? I guess we call the roll. Yes,
I
sir.
think you could also look at it as by having water and sewer, could also maybe have a different density as well. That could be, if you look at that as a downside.
Seeing no more questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes, sir.
Since we're on the Koenig property, I've been around for over 22 years. And I was on the wellhead protection program that was initiated back in the early 2000, along with a lot of other people. I'm real familiar with where the village of Oxford's water is coming from. And the water, the aquifer up there from the Koenig site is in direct line with the wellhead of the village. One thing I'd like to do is have the Water Sewer Committee look at protecting that area. I don't expect you to do it tonight, but to sit together. What I wouldn't want is 100 homes on the lake there with septic tanks. Of course, it's going to be on the lakeside, possibly polluting or doing whatever to the lake. I'm not sure whether that lake is a confined aquifer or whether it's connected to the same aquifer as the village. But again, I would like to see that piece of property protected, whether it's to have the developer at his own cost, conform to whatever we need for a sewer system in that area. I'm not saying do the whole parcel, but just take a look at protecting that lake and the source of possible source of water for the village.
Curtis, could you slide the map up, please? I think you can see Lakeville Road on it, I think. Yes. Take your cursor and go that right across the northern side of the lake. All that water right there flows out of the aquifer into that lake. That lake is also part of Oxford Lake. And as Bill mentioned, that is the aquifer that feeds all of the village water. And we have 2 test wells right about, there, down, straight down, on the safety path right there that tests all that water for E. coli and whatever. But what Bill is talking about is a major impact to the ecology. No matter what the property is zoned, it should be zoned to sewer, is what I'm hearing him say. And part of the proposal for this was to include that in the sewer district. It's not being brought at this time because the capacity of our sewer system wouldn't allow it to. So we could make it part of it, but the developer, whoever picked it up in years ahead, would have to expand the water and sewer, or the sewer system with a larger pump or a holding tank, that kind of thing, to meet with the RU factors that drive that sewer capacity there. We could do it, look into it, and see what it would do, and put it in there, knowing that it would have to impact the structure of our infrastructure when it was developed.
If you don't mind, I can make a motion that I would like to direct the Water Sewer Committee to investigate and protect that area of lake so it doesn't influence or possibly influence any water in the future. I would also include Brad Dewey. We have a situation up there where All those homes are on septic, and it's a very, very old sub, and I would like to protect Stony Lake. I'm not saying do it now, but at least take a look at it and put that on our radar for future. So that's all part of my motion.
I'll give you a second.
Okay, moved by trustee Dunn, seconded by trustee Charles. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
And Trustee Dunn.
Yes.
All right, any other questions on the Koenig sewer? None? Callier Lanes, would you move that down, Curtis, for me, please?
Yep.
Callier Lanes has requested a reduction of their sewer charges. As you may be aware, during the pandemic, it was ordered that Callier Lanes be shut down. They were shut down for, if you went to the chart, I think it was, I can't remember how many days it was, but our ordinance says that if a commercial industrial property is shut down for more than 90 days, they don't have to pay their sewer bill. Their sewer bill won't be charged to them. Up here on the calendar, you'll see the number of days that they were shut down and closed down and their sewer was not operating. They weren't in the building at all. They couldn't open. All the red is what we're proposing to follow our ordinance and refund the money back or not charge them for that sewer bill. The ones in the yellow are a percent where they were allowed to open at 25%. And we were considering those days in there too. So if you back to your chart, Curtis, we can show the approximate, the current amount of the credit that we were proposing is $5,295.16. What we have to do is we do have to charge them the REU factors of 1 to maintain that sewer. So what we're looking at, investigating the order, the number of days closed, what the sewer bill was approximately $6,200 and change. Of that, $5,295.16 we feel we could rebate or not charge Callier Lanes for. Yes, sir.
I'm in agreement with your proposal here. What I want to make sure that it doesn't carry over to homeowners. Like if I was in the township and I went to Florida for 6 months, that, you know, they're gonna come and, you know, talk to me or talk to you guys about not charging me the sewer for that 6 months.
Let me read the ordinance, William, that's a very good point. Any premise utilized for a purpose other than a single-family home. That's right, that's the opening line of the retroactive reduction, so we looked at that. We also looked at every other building in town that could have been affected by the COVID shutdown. None were mandated shutdown other than recreation, indoor recreation for this period of time. The Legacy Center, for example, their sewer is based on water flow into the building. When they hooked up to the sewer, they wanted to pay for what they use for, so we meter their water and determine what their sewer rate is. There are no other recreation facilities in the township that qualify for this. Yes, sir, Trustee Dunn.
If there's no other questions, I'll move based on the urgency and timing of the issue to authorize the Water Sewer Committee to approve expenditures for recommended maintenance to the water and sewer system and to authorize emergency repair costs of the water.
No,
Wrong one? Oh, that's a sewer, sorry. Oh,
I move to approve a credit in the amount of $5,295.16 to the Callier Lane sewer account number 426-354-011, retroactive from March 13th, 2020 to March 31st, 2021, Further, any future requests for retroactive reduction in sewer charges will be addressed on a case-by-case basis.
I'll second.
That's the motion.
Okay, moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Payne. Are there any questions?
Yeah, could you write a letter to the county to see if they would give us a credit back? If we're giving them, can we kind of go down the line and say,
Actually, it's our money, Joe.
pardon?
It's our money.
Yep.
Oh, the county's not charging us based on that?
Here, we have a lot of work to do. What we'd like to do, number one, is we'd like to rest Jeff Collier's heart so he doesn't blow up over the sewer bill. He knows this and we're gonna get that done. Secondly, we're gonna try to make our sewer fund whole. We have many options and Joe's well aware of a couple of them. One is through the ARP Act that we're gonna discuss. We will look into the fund that the county charges us and see if there's any adjustment there. But what we're trying to do here tonight is just get Mr. Collier made whole. Yes, Trustee Dunn.
Well, just a thought, Legacy, were they impacted by this?
No, their sewer rate is based on flow. His is not. Collier's is not. We measure the water going into the Legacy Center,
Yep.
and that's what he pays based on it going out. He's got going in and he's got going out. So he was never 100% vacated like Callier Lanes was.
We had a benchmark for him.
Yes, we do. Seeing no other questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. Okay, board members, Mr. Trustee Dunn almost read the motion to approve this, but here's what happened. Oxford Township and the Oakland County Water Resources Commission came to an agreement that they will still be our operating and maintaining organization of our water and sewer system. Over the past few years, we've worked to have all assets of this system transferred into Oxford Township's name. Now that all these assets are in our name and we have a supplier working on our assets, they need approval to do any work on our system that's of monies, and we can't approve it if it's over $3,500. But we have an example that came up. A $16,500 water motor, a pump motor, failed, causing one of our wells to go down. Right now, it's starting to be our peak water usage time, and we almost held a special township board meeting to get this approved, this expenditure of $16,500. I talked to the attorney, I put an email out and said what I was doing. Under an emergency act, we approved the $16,500. But what I'd like to do now is have this board recognize that Water and Sewer Committee gets a request for an emergency repair, that they should have the authority to authorize these repairs, emergency repairs, and then report back to the board. Standard maintenance items, whether it be a vessel repair or water line repair, we're gonna have approval before it's done. But in an emergency case like this, when it degrades the system's water, we have to have the authority to approve the payment.
Now we can use that motion, Bill.
Oh. You know what I was used to? I've got it here now.
Yeah,
I'm
you-
used to the motions being at the end of all the context of what were the agenda item, not in front, so I kind of, it's been a while since I've done this. I move, based on the urgency and timing of the issue, to authorize the Water and Sewer Committee to approve expenditures for recommended maintenance to the water and sewer system and authorize emergency repair costs to the water system and sewer system by the Oakland County Water Resource Commission that would otherwise cause a delay by requiring the Township Board approval.
Second.
Okay, it's moved by Trustee Dunn, seconded by Treasurer Ferrari. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
And Trustee Dunn.
Yes.
Okay, Treasurer Ferrari, you want to take item 10 D, Oxford Village tax collection.
As board members, the village would like us to, once again, to do the back end of their tax collection process. We've done it from 2011 to 2020 on a one-year contract. They've asked us to do it again this year. They've approved it at their end. This just approves it at our end. I make a motion to authorize Treasurer Joseph G. Ferrari to execute the agreement for Oxford Village tax BSNA postings as presented, attach the former agreement to the minutes.
Second.
Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Payne. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
And Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Thank you, board members.
I got a list of things to do here now. The next one is called Attorney Pool. You slip up to that one, Curtis. All right, board members, we have a professional services committee that said our attorney of record for township business is Rentrop Morrison. But it's noted that tax tribunal and tax cases, they're handled by the law firm of Atkinson, Need, Allen, and Rentrop. Our prosecuting attorney is done through the Kelly Law Firm. And fourth, our HR and fire chief or fire union contracts are all done by Bussell Long. So we are bringing to this board's attention that we have more than one attorney, and we would like to have a formal township board approval to continue this practice and allow specific legal firms to handle matters that they are more catered to their expertise. And an example of that is working with Attorney Rentrop. I was talking to him and I said, we need to address medical marijuana. And in his honesty, Gary said, I am not up to speed on medical marijuana, but Atkinson, Need, Allen, and Rentrop is. They are the attorney of record for Commerce Township. Rather than Gary spending all the time to get up to speed on the ever-changing laws, we then chose to do this with the firm of Atkinson, Need, Allen, and Rentrop. At his offering, he said we ought to do that. So this practice of using the different attorneys should be recognized by this board so that we get the best attorney for the predicament that we're in.
I make a motion that the Charter of Township of Oxford continues utilizing the following legal firms based on specific areas of expertise. Bussell Long, the Kelly Law Firm, Atkinson, Need, Allen, and Rentrop and Morrison. In the event that an individual elected official is named in a lawsuit and or served with a subpoena, we have to that elected official in consultation with the township supervisor to determine which approved attorney firm to utilize.
Second.
Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Payne. Are there any questions? Seeing none, policy. I'll call the vote, please.
Roll call.
Yes.
Roll call. Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes.
Okay. Item 10F, communications process. Bill should be familiar with this one. When I was a young planning commissioner many years ago, we spent some money. And quickly the supervisor at the time told us, you don't have the authority to spend money as a commission member. You are to ask for permission first. What's happened is in our energies to move forward, many of us have been engaging our consultants prior to letting the elected officials know that we need work done from either our planner, which is Carlisle Workman, Sharp Engineering, or Attorney Rentrop. So the communication process just needs to be reiterated. If you'd slide up a little bit there, Chris. We would like to talk about that the elected officials are the members that engage consultants in this policy. And we're not scolding anybody, we're just wanting everybody to know what the policy is.
I move to appoint William Dunn, John Nold, and Rod Charles to draft a consultant engagement party for discussion and possible adoption at the June 9th, 2021 Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting.
I'll second the motion.
Moved by trustee Payne, seconded by clerk Wright. Questions, please.
Can we talk to the attorney? Do we have permission?
No. Not in a legal capacity. I'm not breaking up a friendship, not just in a legal capacity. Yes, sir, clerk Wright.
About 10 years ago, the board did approve an attorney engagement policy that could probably be used as a base to build on, and I can forward that information. If
And
these,
at that time, it had the full-time elected officials as that committee. And I'd like to see that stay the same. If you want to pay me to do it, that's fine.
Should be the three of us versus three trustees?
Well, as I read the motion,
Gonna find out when you vote.
they move to appoint those three people to draft the
I
consultant,
purposely chose not to go with the elected
to
officials.
draft the consultant engagement policy, which will be brought up for discussion and possible adoption.
Uh-huh.
Archie, what's your rationale?
Mine?
Archie's for having not the electeds.
Well, because you're very close to the situation, and I just think, I understand where you stand, and I agree with the policy as it stands. Okay, we have a policy in place, and I think it's a good policy to have. I just think, now the elected officials did that policy, now it's a good idea for the trustees to maybe take a look at it and see if they see any tweaks.
Anybody want to
Maybe
hear
put one
my,
elected official on the committee.
anybody want to hear my rationale?
Sure, trustee Dunn, let's hear your rationale.
I'm cheap. You guys are paid, whether you march or fight. Every time we meet, it's going to cost $350, basically, or close enough.
Well,
And you guys are, the elected officials are right there on the front line.
okay,
What's your take?
here, my take is the three elected officials are on the consultant engagement policy. We're the ones that are closest to it, we do the work. Now, if you move to appoint a trustee on the engagement policy, we would have to call that trustee, explain the situation out, and then get the approval to use the attorney. So not me, but every day that someone wants to use the planner, they'd have to call trustee Charles, trustee Noel, or trustee Payne and explain the situation, then engage them? Or would you allow the elected officials to continue to retain that power?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that the three that I said would be the ones doing the engaging, and they're just looking at the policy. That this is just for the policy, right?
Yes, I agree.
And no, I just absolutely not. I don't think anybody that's not sitting in the office should be engaging any of our consultants.
So Margie, they would just set the parameters for us.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's kind of a separation of powers there. The trustees are setting parameters, but of course you are the ones that are going to engage the consultants.
I could live with that, but I really think Supervisor Curtis needs to be involved.
Well, that's fine, okay.
John?
I mean, that's just my take on it. Me and
Hello?
Curtis can kind of take a backseat role. I think Jack really needs to be involved in that process.
I have a comment here, Mr. Curtis.
Yes, sir, trustee
So,
Charles.
well, two things. Mr. Dunn, is it required to take the paycheck when you have a committee meeting?
I believe it is.
It's mandatory.
I believe it is.
must be paid.
Can you then redonate that back if you are?
You do whatever you want with it, probably, after you get paid.
Okay, so you don't have, you can give it back to the township if you so chose, correct?
No, you're getting involved in totally different things here.
Okay,
Let's get
well, that's
back
my
on
question.
track.
Well, that's
Okay.
part of the question.
My motion wasn't seconded, was it?
I second
Oh,
your
you
Yes,
did,
motion.
okay,
right,
I'm
second.
going to change, or rescind my motion and
Okay.
make it,
Wait, let's vote on that motion so we can rescind it, please.
okay. You can't
Roll
just
call.
rescind it.
Trustee Dunn,
No.
trustee Noel,
No.
trustee Payne,
No,
treasurer Ferrari,
No.
supervisor Curtis,
No,
trustee Charles,
No.
clerk Wright, no.
okay,
okay,
now.
now, you want to make a second motion?
Yes, I move to appoint Rod Charles, John Knoll, and Supervisor Curtis to draft a consultant engagement policy for discussion and possible adoption at the June 9th, 2021 Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting.
Second.
Moved by Payne, trustee Payne, seconded by treasurer Ferrari. Are there any questions?
That's reasonable.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Hearing none, the motion carries. That's Curtis, as in Jack, Charles,
And no.
and Noel. Okay, item 10F2, dissemination of township communications. We've had this discussion before regarding communications. A lot of it was around social media. We touched a little on emails, but we hired a grants and communication manager to address our social media. Most generally, he will contact neighboring communities with information that has to go out. Premature information release only causes more work for the people in the township. It causes confusion in the public. When someone gets wind of something that's going on, I'm asking that there be a policy that we just don't send it out until all of the information is contained. For example, we're having a vaccine meeting May 18th at the fire hall in Oxford. Which fire hall? How do you sign up? How old do you have to be? Are you now taking the 12-year-olds? The first piece of information goes out. It sends out in a bunch of emails to a bunch of other communities. What we do, we have control of. What they do, we don't have control of. So my control here is to say, before any member communicates to other communities or networks by email, social media, or internal messaging or telephone call, please let's make sure everything is in total and clear it to our communications person. I would willing to say 9 times out of 10, they're more involved than the person that has disseminated the information. So that policy should be adhered to just for the integrity of our township. We don't want to send out half bits of information or false information. Anybody have any questions?
You want a motion or anything?
Do we need a motion?
I think it's pretty understood.
Okay.
We're all big kids, we understand what we're doing. Thank you. Item 10G, Township Salary and Wages. Who was taking that one, Joe?
Because we kind of discussed this in the office, about doing this in-depth study. We thought about the compensation committee, but we figured that's a lot of work to ask of them. They do the whole studies, talk to all the communities, do the spreadsheets. We thought it's possibly better to have myself, trustee Clerk Wright, and Supervisor Curtis to do the work, presenting to the entire board. Let you guys make the decision. We thought about, well, we'll do the work and give it to the committee. They're like, no. Then it leaves out Mr. Noel and Mr. Charles. So it's like, please do the work, give it to all 7 of us, and we can hash it out, say yea or nay.
And why we're talking about this tonight is several people have disagreed with the current method of grade and step. And what we found is we've done a study of everybody's pay from the supervisor to the sweeper. And we also hired 3 new people this year. All 3 people came from different entities, and we were nowhere equal in compensation to those entities. Each one of these people took a pay reduction to come to work here for other reasons, but we are not comparable in the pay schedule. So what we've done is we've gathered a lot of this information because we're trying to get right with the world and have a fair and equitable way to reward exemplary pay based on evaluations. We may have a process in place that the board could recognize from our work doing.
Well,
Okay, I'll take questions.
excuse me.
Yes, Trustee Bailey.
You and I used to be on the compensation committee together,
Yes,
and this is something we talked about for 2 years
yes.
doing, and just couldn't move forward with it partly because of COVID. We talked about hiring or, getting the MTA numbers. We talked about hiring a company to do the study for us. We talked about other ways of doing it.
Yes.
I guess I just think, my question is, are you guys gonna do the calling around and figuring out and stuff like that?
And it will be presented in a real nice spreadsheet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that will be delegated.
You know anybody that knows how to do spreadsheets?
Yes, we do.
One of our committee members will be the one doing that.
Margie, to address your question, one method we did was, this is not an abnormal request. Other townships are suffering through this also. It's not a spiraling up to a point where you're paying everybody outrageous salaries, but what we found is all of our communities, the MTA communities, are suffering with this pay problem.
Right.
And we've all submitted our spreadsheets as to what we pay our people, and it's all on an Excel spreadsheet that shows commerce clerk, commerce treasurer, commerce supervisor, deputies, right on down the line, what they pay them. By
Right.
population, by value and equity of the community. For example, we're a $1 billion community with approximately 20,000 people. Our supervisor makes this. If you look over and you compare across, you see what every supervisor is. You can find one that's in a like community, and that's what they pay them. MTA then provides you an average in that range. As far as deputies and hourly employees, they do the same thing. All of the deputies are on the spreadsheet, and MTA provides you what a basic hourly wage is for each position based on job load, if you will, by number of people in your communities and the net worth. So all that
So you'll be
information,
reviewing the admins as well as the deputies.
Oh, yeah.
admins, hourly employees, deputies, treasurer,
Your
clerk,
inspectors and your,
inspectors, zoning ordinance officers.
You'll be redoing the step system,
Probably.
Yes,
I
replace
have
it.
a question.
well, the subsystem was brought in the early 90s.
yes.
And there are several laws that think that it needs to
You know,
go away.
why do, and I'll throw this one out there just for adjustment. You have a deputy clerk and a deputy treasurer. The deputy clerk is subject to possibly 5 elections in a year. 5 elections in a year. This past election, how many hours overtime did the deputy clerk work?
Probably, I'd say, maybe 100, just throwing a number out.
Easy.
Hours over what the normal deputy would work. So,
It's easy.
in that instance, being an exempt employee, you either A, don't pay them, or make them non-exempt and pay them at time and a half. If you make them exempt, you can make the salary compensatory with their duties. For example, a deputy clerk makes $80,000 and the deputy treasurer makes $70,000. So that compensation is built right into the plan. Or you just say, you are now hourly and you're gonna get all the hourly overtime. That could be unlimited and you may lose money that way. So it's all in the formulas that we can present to the board, knowing that we're working on it.
Well, I have a question about that, Mr. Curtis.
Yes, sir, Trustee Charles.
So are you talking about the amount, or are you talking about the process?
Right now, we're talking about in preparation for the upcoming budget, the compensation committee to analyze Oxford Township's current salaries and wages. to present forward what this board would approve.
So the answer is both.
Yes,
Okay.
That's
So
what
it's
I
the
like.
amount and the process, because the process is the key going forward in many years. When
yes.
you do something this year, it's going to carry forward, as Margie just said, in the future years, if that was done in the 90s. I mean, my only concern would be protecting employees myself.
Well, if you want to get down into it right now, the deputies were all paid the same amount of money for the last, how many years?
What did we match now?
15.
15 years
Yeah.
they've been paid. They're maxed out on this grade and step program to the maximum they can make. So you have one deputy that's working differently, evaluates higher, rewards different. You can't do it. They're all making the same wage.
So then part of the process would be to differentiate the pay per person regardless of the position.
Very true. Partially, yes.
See, but that's why Jack's motion says at a future board meeting, because we don't know what we don't know. Once you start getting into this process, there's other questions like that that are gonna arise. We don't want to hamstring us and say, okay, it's gotta be here in June. Once we dig into this, it may be till August.
Well, the
We don't
key is
know.
the process,
Yeah,
Right.
because that comes before the amount.
correct.
Right. We are working on the process currently.
I move to authorize Supervisor Jack Curtis, Clerk Curtis W. Wright, and Treasurer Joseph G. Ferrari to perform an in-depth salary and wage study for Oxford Township employees, appointed and elected officials, including the potential replacement of the existing step and grade system, and provide the findings and recommendations for consideration at a future Oxford Township Board of Trustees meeting.
I'll second.
Moved by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Noel. Any questions?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Is that a potential conflict of interest since you'd be, let's say, basically adjudicating your own paycheck?
That's up to the 7 of us.
That's up to the 7 of you, us.
We can present something, Rod, you guys could say, no dice, go back to the drawing board. It's happened.
Okay, don't cash the check, Joe.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Dunn?
Yes.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Curtis.
Yes. All right, item number 10H. Would you roll that up a little bit, Curtis, for me?
Oh, we go up here further.
That's fine, right there. No, down. Board members, as of December 31st, 2019, the MERS, or Municipal Employees Retirement System, was funded at 73%. Additional funding is necessary in order to comply with the state of Michigan minimum requirements for publicly funded pension plans. In anticipation of a favorable 2020 audit report, I'm recommending the Township Board allocate additional funds to the MERS fund. In the past, I always questioned that, and thank you, Trustee Payne, dug it all out and showed me that by consent agreement, the Township of Oxford is on the hook for any shortfalls in the MERS system relating to the village and the township split up of back in
2005.
2005.
2005 or 6.
Yes. So we are on the hook for the money.
Shame on us.
In order to bring us up to speed with the favorable audit projection, I'd look for a motion. Oh,
First
trustee.
question. Help me out. Did someone bring up $500,000 at a meeting not too long ago?
Well, when you were supervisor, we paid $500,000 into
No, but
it.
I'm talking about another $500,000.
No, I think we just.
I think you heard 200,000 and 300,000 is I think where you're getting your 5. It was 200 in the beginning, and then with all the sale of properties and now with the favorable audit report, it's 3. So maybe your 3 and your 2 is 5, but
No, I remember, and I went, oh.
yeah, it wasn't, I don't think it was up to 5. I think it may have been the addition.
I do realize the importance of getting that number up. I mean, it was down to 60 before.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's taken probably $1 million just to get it up to 5 or 6 points.
And it's good, yeah.
In a favorable market.
I mean, it's,
I move to allocate $300,000 from the general fund balance to the municipal employees retirement system, MERS, to help additionally fund the MERS retirement plan.
I'll second that.
Moved by trustee Payne, seconded by trustee Charles. I'll open it to questions, please. Treasurer Ferrari.
Marty, nothing I don't agree, but I'd really like to have my 2020 audit in hand. Not that it's not gonna be favorable.
That's what you said last year.
True. I'm consistent.
Okay, you say it, you are consistent, you say it every year.
Once I see
We
the
have the
audit,
money, we got paid for that piece of property that we sold, we
I
got the money.
understand. I'm not disagree with that at all.
Trustee, I'm sorry, clerk, right.
Yeah, our unaudited numbers at the end of, showing period ending 12/31/2020 shows a surplus of $1.1 million in the general fund.
In addition to what we already
Maybe I
did?
need to change my motion to 500,000.
Easy now. I'm not seeing that.
Revenue expense.
Revenue expense for 2021 is of May. Does this include the,
That was the print date today, it was as of December 31, 2020.
oh, okay.
So it does include the sale of the
That's before
property.
Does not-
the sale of the piece of property.
Before?
Yeah.
Want to gamble? Okay, it shows 1,100,000 net of revenues and expenditures in the general fund balance,
Unaudited,
Yes.
unaudited,
Before the sale.
before the sale.
yeah.
is that sale coming up?
That's done.
Done.
It's done.
Got our cash, we don't own it.
I'm gonna help take care of it, guys.
Is there any way you could pass that along for,
We've talked about it.
We talked about it and didn't know if we wanted to, we'll talk about it in general comments, how's that? Okay, any other questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Payne.
Yes?
Trustee Noel.
yes,
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Wait, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
And Trustee Dunn.
yes.
Okay, I'm off the hook. No items removed from consent agenda. Okay, public comment from anyone in the room. Any public want to comment at this time? Seeing none. Board of Trustees comments. I'm going to start with Trustee Dunn.
I'd like to welcome the new Assistant Fire Chief. I finally got to meet him, I believe it was yesterday, and welcome aboard.
Thank you,
And
Don't look him to buy your McDonald's when he's following you through.
I have no other comment.
Thank you. Trustee Noel.
Yes, we did some work over the winter on Squaw Lake DNR access site. And I was back there today, and they have, the DNR has placed a small building to be used for the DNR on-site officer at that location. They have removed the parking curbs. They're storing them temporarily, and they plan to be grading very soon to get them ready for the prime time. And one last thing, it was nice to see the fire department and all the trucks when I drove in the parking lot. I was impressed. Thank you.
It was a very good showing.
Trustee Payne.
That's it, nothing.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Following what Supervisor Dunn had said, we did sell the property on Elkview.
Who?
Sorry, Trustee Dunn. We did sell the property in Elkview, so we no longer own that property. It's, Mr. Lee owns the property. It's closed, signed, sealed, delivered. That's all I had.
Trustee Charles.
Nothing.
Clerk Wright.
Just a reminder that the planning commission meeting tomorrow is being held at Lake Point Church, if anybody is planning to attend. Just so that's
Good
aware.
point.
Is that planning commission, is that meeting on the property, the Crossroads property?
No. It's on the marijuana, medical marijuana.
There were three issues on that, I believe. Marijuana was one of them.
Manitou Hills, marijuana.
The fireworks.
Oh, and King Fireworks, or, yeah,
At the Myers.
Guess they want to go over there by Meyer.
yeah. All right, I have 2 items. One, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we're sitting down with a list of items for 925 Legacy Center. Any open items such as permits, violations, anything in it that's against the ordinance, landscaping, signs, whatever it is, I've got a list 10 feet long. And when we're done tomorrow afternoon, Jordan will take that list and give me the dates that they will be done, closed out, and completed before any other activity is done at Legacy 925. The final site plan hasn't been done yet, and we're going to move that way towards it. Engineer Sharps provided information and pictures, along with Fire Chief Pete, the building department, our inspectors, our engineer, and our attorney. So that's going to be tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Where?
Right here. Right here. And secondly, ARP Act funding allocation has been released. And Treasurer Ferrari and Clerk Wright and I sat down yesterday, and we're going to find out how we have to get the money. Now we have to go after the money rather than just send it to us.
Do I have a do-over?
In a minute, when I'm done, Mr. Dunn, Trustee Dunn. So we got word that the money's coming, and it's called the ARP Act funding allocation. We don't know how much money is coming. We don't know what percent is coming, and we don't know how we're going to get it. We've given some instructions, so Treasurer Ferrari, Clerk Wright, and myself sat down, and we put together a small plan. May 12th, I want to tell you that we're going to have Joe Ferrari applying for the money. It calls for DUNS, it calls for employee identification numbers, it calls for receiving could be up to $1 million in these funds coming in. So if you have any problem with Joe, he's going to be applying for it for us tomorrow. Each board member will submit their proposals of needs or wants based on 4 criteria: who, why, what, and approximately how much. By June 30th, Melissa's going to put a list together. And I have the frequently asked questions list of what this money can be spent on. So the number one thing is we got to find out how much our first allocation is. But while we're finding that out, we're going to put out these 4 bullets that you can suggest these funds be spent on. It's very regimented what the funds are spent on, and it will be audited very closely. After Melissa gets the list on or about June 30th, at the July 14th Township Board meeting, we would like to appoint a subcommittee to prioritize the list. Once we know how much money, once we have the list, we'll be able to prioritize it with the subcommittee that this board will appoint in July. In August, we will have an action plan. We will know how much money we've got. We will know what prioritized items we voted on and what we believe these monies should be spent on. And we will institute an action plan to get that going. So from 30,000 feet, Joe's going to apply for the money. We're going to find out how much money we have. By June 30th, all the board members, we would like to have your input on what your proposals are of needs and wants in the community based on the 4 criteria, which I will have out to you. By June 30th, I want the list turned into Melissa. Melissa will formulate the list. July 14th, this board will appoint a subcommittee to prioritize the list. We will bring the list back on August 11th with that priorities, and then we'll vote on the list and see what we can do about spending or allocating those funds.
Jay, could you have Melissa take that all out and give it to all of us?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
How's that sound? Mr. Dunn, Trustee Dunn, you had a question.
Is this the time I could congratulate someone on bringing some money in, or do we have to wait?
You want to congratulate anybody? I'm a cheerleader. I like that. You go ahead and congratulate them.
But I mean, I don't want to upset, I don't want to beat out the people that are contributing the money. CJ, am I talking to you?
Oh, yeah, you can't do that yet.
See? Okay. Then I'll just say congratulations.
That's the note I sent out.
Yeah.
It said, don't reply.
But I just wondered if it was time yet.
I talked to Attorney Rentrop, and if you put that on top of your email that says, do not reply, information only, and you copy him, that means that you are being told not to respond and violate the Open Meetings Act. It also might make this a attorney-client relationship, right? So when I send out information like that, that's just to make you feel good about these people, and it's rightfully so.
I didn't want to overlook it.
Thank you. Item number 14.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion by Treasurer Ferrari, seconded by Trustee Dunn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is closed.
Is there really 15 consent agenda? Remind me you're gonna wrong.
Oh, that's items on the consent agenda that were removed. We voted on the consent agenda on item.
After adjournment, what we have after the meeting?
I don't know, we got it on 5. I'm gonna answer.
Can we afford to do share down there? That one's